disappeared in the shadows, but I admire your ambition.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 action comedy Hostile Takeover. The film is co-written and directed by Michael Hamilton Wright, and it stars Michael J. White and Amy Stolt and Dawn Olivera. Right, the film focuses on Michael J. White's character, Pete. Now, Pete is, well, he's an enforcer for the mob, really. He enjoys his work. He really enjoys his work. In fact, he is a workaholic. He has just joined a support group to discuss his addiction to work, which is costing him his relationship. And then there seems to be an issue with his boss, the guy that runs the organisation that he works for. For some reason, he seems to think that Pete has ratted on him and the organisation, so he puts a contract out on him to bring him in alive so that he can question him. This then leads to an endless wave of assassins that go after Pete to try and bring him in. He doesn't understand why they think he's a rat, and he's got to kind of figure out what's going on. Right, what are my thoughts on Hostile Takeover? Michael J. White, I've just reviewed one of his most recent films on the channel a week or two ago. I think if you follow kind of lower budget action, you know how good Michael J. White is in regards to an action lead. He's one of those, very much like Scott Adkins, who deserved a shot at being like a lead actor. He's never really got it. You've seen him in a few things here and there, obviously. But he is a very, very skilled action lead. And he's perfect in movies like this. You know, he generally can deliver. Now, this is a bit of an oddity. The last few films I've seen of Michael J. White's have been attempts at, like, comedy. And they just don't work particularly. Now, the last one that I reviewed, he kind of directed it. So, you know, he obviously thinks he's got a knack for this. And I'm not knocking him or anything, because I don't think he's a poor actor or anything like that. But I just didn't find really any of this funny. Don't get me wrong, it's not slapstick or anything, that kind of humour. It's more like a situational comedy, and with a few one-liners thrown in there by Michael J. White's character and some of the others. So just be warned, if you're not a fan of comedy in your action films, especially comedy that misses more than it hits in this film, then you're probably going to be a bit, you know, upset with this film. The action that we get here is absolutely fine. As I said before, Michael J. White is a veteran of the industry. He's incredibly talented when it comes to martial arts. He's a genuine article when it comes to, you know, his martial arts and his fighting skills. And once again, it's on display here in this film. It's the action is pretty slick. It works, and the fight choreography is done, you know, to a strong standard here. I think the thing is it's just, we've seen this kind of film so many times before. I mean, the Scott Adkins films, you know, where he plays that assassin, where, you know, all them over-the-top assassins are chasing after him and stuff. I've forgotten the name of him now, based on the comic strip. Someone will tell me in the comments. I won't mind, but I've reviewed them both as Scott Adkins films. This is a bit like that. You know, because these gangs of assassins that are coming after him, it's odd because they all seem to like him. You know, they all know him by name. They all like him. It's not like one assassin. It's like the lead assassin, and then they've got like a gang with them. But they all, you know him and like him. But still, at the same time, they're quite happy to bring him in to be questioned, knowing very likely that he's going to be killed. So it's just like rinse and repeat. This Russian gang goes to see Michael J. White's character Pete. He ends up beating them up, moving on. Then he goes to see his ex at the club. Another gang turns up. He beats them up, moves on. Then he gets put in a car. Another series of gang members. He beats them up, moves on. It's the same thing. It's just rinse and repeat. It's just a different set of assassins each time, but it's essentially the same thing. And then you get your conclusion where he does what he does to find and get the answers that he needs. It's just too samey, if you like. It's too. I don't know. Again, it's one of those films where I never ever felt he was in trouble. Never really felt he was at risk. There didn't feel to be really any characters in the film that felt real. Even this character Pete didn't feel real to some degree. And then it's full of things that don't really make a lot of sense. For example, he was dating the boss's daughter, the head of this organisation, this mob organisation, whatever you want to call it. His daughter, Maura, is played by Amy Stolt. And Michael J. White used to date her. They're still friends, they still get on, and they're still essentially in love. Number one, I find it hard to believe that this mob boss would think it was Pete, because obviously he would know him. And number two, all these assassins that they send after him, whenever they're in the presence of Maura, essentially they are either wrecking her place, her bar, her apartment, or attacking her. And I'm just kind of thinking, well, they would know that that's the boss's daughter, and she's completely off limits. So why are they trying to kill her? So there's like dumb shit that happens in the film that you just kind of can't shrug off, if you like. So it's just one of those, really. It's not what you would describe as a particularly original film. You've seen this kind of scenario story many, many times before. Yes, okay. As I've said, the quality of the action and stuff is to a decent standard, as you would expect with everybody that's involved in this film, especially Michael J. White. But like I say, nobody really felt like real people. They just kind of felt like cartoon characters to some degree. And this whole thing of him at the beginning going to like therapy because he's a workaholic, it just really leads nowhere, really. It's just a conversation piece that he brings up now and again in the film. It doesn't really lead anywhere. So yeah, it's not a bad film, but it doesn't elevate itself to being anything other than average, really, this one, in my opinion. It doesn't really feel like it's a waste of your time or anything either. It's just, like I say, it's just bang average, in my opinion, this one. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Hostile Takeover. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen it or if you want to see it. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.